Have you ever noticed something strange? Two people work just as hard. One keeps moving forward. The other feels stuck in the exact same place for years. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of us secretly believe we're the second person. We scroll through social media, watching people our age buying homes, starting businesses, traveling the world, while we quietly ask ourselves, what am I doing wrong? We blame the system. We blame bad luck. We blame where we were born. But what if I told you the real reason most people stay or has nothing to do with money? This isn't a motivational quote. It's not hustle culture advice. It's a law that decides who rises and who stays stuck. And the craziest part? This lesson wasn't discovered in a classroom or a boardroom. It was discovered by a beggar sitting on the floor of a crowded railway station. Stay with me, because this story might change how you see your own life. Our story begins in a crowded railway station. Thousands of people passed through every single day, rushing to work, rushing to family, rushing toward their future. But in the middle of all that movement sat a man who wasn't going anywhere. His name was Thomas. For Thomas, the station wasn't a place of travel. It was his home. He slept on cold concrete. He owned almost nothing, and he survived one day at a time. Thomas was a beggar. Every day, Thomas watched successful people walk past him. Expensive suits, confident posture, purpose in their eyes. Instead of inspiration, he felt resentment. He told himself stories. They're just lucky. They were born into it. People like me don't get chances. He sat with a rusted metal bowl, extending a dirty hand, hoping someone would feel sorry enough to help. Thomas believed his problem was money, but his real problem was something deeper. He had lost his sense of value. One afternoon, the station was busier than usual. Thomas noticed a man who stood out. Tailored suit, leather briefcase, calm, quiet confidence. Thomas thought, this is my chance. As the man approached, Thomas stood up, reached out his hand, and said, please, sir, help me. I haven't eaten all day. The man stopped. He looked Thomas directly in the eyes. No pity, no judgment, just curiosity. Then he asked a question Thomas had never heard before. You're asking for my money, the businessman said. But tell me, what are you offering me in return? Thomas froze. I don't understand, he replied. I'm a beggar. I have nothing to give. The businessman smiled. That's your problem. You think you have nothing to offer. Life is about exchange. If you only take, you will always be empty. If you want your life to change, you must learn how to create value. And then he walked away. That night, Thomas couldn't sleep. The question echoed in his mind. What are you offering in return? For the first time in his life, he questioned his own story. He realized he had spent years trying to extract from others without giving anything back. He looked at his hands. They were dirty, but strong. His legs, tired, but working. As long as he was alive, he still had something to give. That night, Thomas made a decision. I will never beg again. From tomorrow, I will trade. The next morning, Thomas walked beyond the station. Near the tracks, he saw wild yellow flowers growing from the dirt. They weren't expensive, but they were beautiful. He picked them carefully, cleaned them, and tied them into small bundles. When he returned to the station, he didn't ask for help. He offered something. To a passing woman, he said, these are for you, to make your morning a little brighter. She smiled and placed money into his hand. Not charity, exchange. Day after day, Thomas continued. People began to recognize him. They smiled at him. They respected him. He earned enough to eat, then enough to change his clothes, then enough to stand tall again. 6 months later, Thomas saw the businessman once more. He handed him a single flower. You gave me value, Thomas said. I'm returning it. The businessman smiled. The only difference between a beggar and a king is how they think. And that is the lesson. Financial freedom doesn't start in the bank. It starts in the mind. You always have something to give. Your time, your skills, your energy, your effort. Stop asking, what can I get? Start asking, what can I give? Because abundance flows to those who participate in the exchange. And if this story gave you value, you know the deal. Like the video. Subscribe to Brain Ascend. Fair exchange.